All right, welcome to Bali, Indonesia, everybody. Today my mother is going to tell you guys the truth of what she experienced in terms of culture shock on her previous 2 weeks in Malaysia. First time ever in Malaysia and first time ever in Asia doing this type of travel. Now, to be clear, we are in Indonesia now, but we are returning back to Malaysia. So this is like our Indonesian intermission to our trip. And so, first impressions of Malaysia, Mom. What did you experience? What was the #1 most culture shock you had living in Malaysia for the past 2 weeks?
Well, I would think that it was the food, and to be more specific,
Sure.
the rice. They eat rice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And for breakfast, they may have chicken, they may have beef. It's a full... What I would eat for dinner, they eat for breakfast, and then just keep lunch and dinner.
Rice and rice and more rice.
Rice and rice and more rice, exactly. Now, it's good, but boy, they eat a lot of rice. They do. Another thing goes along with the food is that they eat with their hands.
Yeah.
And I find that very... I won't say strange, but it sounds terrible, but very different than what we would do at home. What me as a Canadian would do at home.
Fair.
We went to a nice restaurant last night, a fancy restaurant, and everyone was there, a lot of people were eating with their hands. I just find that...
Yep. Even a
different.
good family at a fancy restaurant, you got the mom, the dad, and 3 kids, and they're licking their fingers and eating rice with the hands.
They do. So one thing I'm going to try to do, before we leave, is to eat a meal with my hands.
Okay.
I'm going to try.
To be clear, in Canada, you might eat chicken wings or pizza.
Absolutely. Chicken wings, pizza, French fries.
Yeah.
I mean, we do eat with our hands.
Yeah.
But definitely rice and ripping apart the chicken with our fingers, that would not happen.
Yeah.
For me, for us, for Dad and I.
Okay, so in terms of the food, what's your favorite Malaysian food so far? Is there one that stands out?
Oh, boy. Well, I really like the roti canai.
Uh-huh.
It was delicious with the curry sauce. And in fairness, I ate that with my hand.
Good point.
And it was fine. It was delicious.
Fair.
And going along with that is our first breakfast in KL. We go to that store, that
Yeah, it's
restaurant.
like a warung. It's like a simple eatery for roti canai.
And the gentleman who was making the roti canai was so friendly.
Uh-huh.
He bumped us up in the line,
Yep.
knowing that we're tourists. And then at the end, someone paid for our meal. The gentleman just came up and said, "I'm paying for you." That would not happen in Canada.
True.
In where I live, that would be, I won't say it never happens, because I'm sure it has.
Yeah.
But that would be very uncommon. Whereas I think here in Malaysia, it's very common.
They got some good hospitality.
Absolutely. People are so kind.
Okay, how have you been handling the spice level? I'll say you've been handling it pretty well.
I've been handling it pretty well. I do try.
Yeah.
And after the first bite, if it's over the top, I just don't eat anymore. Have not had any stomach issues.
Good.
Everything's been fine.
Good. Usually we put the sambal on the side, and then you can take as you
Absolutely.
prefer.
Yes. And I don't mind. The food is very good.
Yeah. Flavorful.
It's very flavorful. I don't think there's anything. There's so many different foods that I've tried.
Uh-huh.
So many different foods.
Yeah, one thing too is the recipes are very complete. So in Canada, on the table you have salt, pepper, vinegar, things you might add. In Malaysia, they bring the recipe out and you don't add anything.
Oh, that's another thing too, I would say, is that there's no salt and pepper on the table. Anywhere.
Yeah.
There is no salt and pepper.
They've prepared the food with every ingredient you need.
Absolutely. And eat it as it is.
Yeah, absolutely right.
And then you can add the extra spicy stuff and all that. That's true. No salt and pepper.
Okay, so we've been to the restaurant now. We've had some culture shock. Now, after the restaurant, you might go to the bathroom. Has there been any culture shock in the bathroom?
Bathrooms are very different here. The first time we went, we went to the washroom, Ivana and I went to the bathroom at the football stadium, and it was a squatter toilet. It was a big hole in the floor. I look at him and go, okay, help me, what do I do? It was funny, and we both laughed, and it was fine. They have the hose.
Yep. Have you used the hose?
I have never used the hose, and that's one I will not use the hose. We would have water everywhere.
The ceiling.
And I have a question.
Sure.
For after you use the hose, there is very rarely toilet paper.
Right.
So what do you do? Stay there for an hour and drip dry? I mean, I'm sorry if it sounds rude. I don't mean to be rude. It's an honest question. What do you do?
I think the idea is you would use a hose and then you would wipe the water away. Although you probably have to bring your own tissue because it's generally not much tissue in the bathrooms in Malaysia. I mean, there's some, but it's hit or miss.
And why is that? Because they just don't provide, or because it's just common that you would bring your own?
I think people just bring their own. I will say this,
as
Mom.
a tourist, not knowing that.
I will say this, Mom. You know me, I was born and raised with no hose.
Absolutely.
I won't tell you what to do. I won't push you in any direction, but the hose is really the way to go. Big fan of the hose. When I first came to Malaysia and Southeast Asia in general, I was nervous about the hose. I didn't use it for months. And then one fateful day, I tried the hose, and it's...
Did the water go
I'm pro hose.
Did the water go everywhere?
My first experience was a total disaster. It was very embarrassing. I didn't realize the pressure in the hose, and my shorts and underpants and everything got wet.
Well, I would be scared of.
But once you get the hang of it, Mom, the hose is the way to go. For what it's worth.
For what it's
Okay,
worth.
so we've been to the restaurant, had some culture shock, went to the bathroom. Now it's time we hop in the car and start driving. What's been your impression of the Malaysian roadways, Mom?
First of all, I have to add one more thing as far as the food.
Sure.
You also eat with a spoon.
Oh, good point.
So you eat with a spoon. I would eat with a fork.
Yeah.
There is no knives, so you would. So you use a fork and a spoon.
Yeah.
So the spoon cuts the food, I guess. No, the fork.
You kind of rip the meat off.
You rip the meat off, and then you eat it with you put it in your mouth with the spoon. I get why you wouldn't have a knife, because in most cases, I guess you're eating with your hands, so you don't need a knife. You would just rip the food apart.
True.
The problem for me is, I've always used a fork and a knife, always.
Okay.
I wouldn't have a spoon at any meal unless you were eating soup.
Okay.
Or cereal.
Okay, got it.
Or ice cream.
It's right.
You're right. The hardest part is the spoons are tablespoons.
Okay.
I have tried to use the spoon for my rice, and then you put a little piece of meat on it, or on it with it. It's too much food in my mouth. It's a big tablespoon. I mean, I guess you can put a little bit, but it's hard. So the fork works better for me.
Okay, so
maybe I use a teaspoon.
I
use a teaspoon, and then it won't be too much food in my mouth. I don't know. But anyways, it's just so much fun trying everything and seeing how.
Yep. Every day is a learning experience.
Lives and what they experience, and it's so much fun.
Good. Okay, so now we're in the car.
Now we're in the car.
The scooters is definitely a culture shock. Every North American would say that. What have you noticed?
The scooters there's lots of them.
Yep.
Some wear helmets, some don't wear helmets. All the scooters are racing to be first. That's what it looks like to us. They're all racing to be first. They go between the cars, either side.
Yeah.
They cut in front. You could have 4 people on it. You could be sitting forward. Someone might be sitting sideways.
Yeah.
It's very different. And in KL, they put if they wear a jacket.
Oh yeah, good one. Yeah.
They put it with their arms in like this.
Like backwards.
Backwards.
Yeah.
So that the back is open. And we're thinking this might be because of the heat. Because we don't know, maybe
like the wind,
the audience would know, or why you wouldn't do it up. Because your back would get too hot with the heat, so they just put their arms in. The back is here.
Yeah.
Your back, the rider's back is open.
It's a little more breathable.
That's what we're thinking.
Maybe
that's probably why. And they just go. they are so close to the cars when they go by.
Even on the highway.
And everyone goes fast. And so you have lanes, but then the vehicles can go in the middle lane, and they can go between the lines, they can go they're not in, no one's in their own lane.
Yeah.
Right? If there's motorcycles here and scooters here and scooters here, the vehicle, because we've taken many grabs,
Yeah.
will just go down the middle. Like, lines don't mean anything. Pass when you want.
Yes.
It's just, but in saying all that, lots of traffic, but it's always moving.
Yes.
So
Good point.
I guess they found a way to make it work with so many scooters and cars.
Yeah, they've got a different road system. There's not many red lights, a lot of roundabouts.
Oh, yeah.
It's always flowing.
It's always flowing.
It's a big chaos though.
Yes.
To be honest, were you nervous when I was driving at the beginning? Because it looks like chaos.
It does look like chaos, and yes, I was nervous when you started out. Mostly just because of the scooters.
Yeah.
Because even you wouldn't be used to the scooters back home.
What I learned is, like you said, Mom, it's not important to look at the paint on the road or the signs. It's important to look at all the vehicles around you.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a flow to it, and if you're in the flow, you'll be fine. If you start to try and follow the rules too much, you'll be doing the wrong thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's just go with the flow. It's really
Oh,
the
yeah.
style of driving.
And lots of girls riding scooters.
Yep.
You know, 4 on a bike. You have a child in the front,
Yeah.
then dad or mom driving, and then another child, and then the opposite parent.
Yeah.
Crazy. And the child, like I saw babies, they're holding them like a baby.
Yeah.
You right? And they're driving down the road. Oh, it's like, wow. But traffic does move.
Yeah.
Just hope that everyone gets to their spot they're trying to get to safely.
Yeah, they usually do. Okay, so we went to the restaurant, we went to the bathroom, we were driving. Now let's park the car and go for a walk. How about the walking experience? Probably you're gonna say it's super hot.
Oh, it's very hot.
Yeah.
Even right now, it's. I don't
Well,
know
we're in
what-
Indonesia now, but same.
Oh, sorry. Yes, but it's the same here.
Yeah, same.
It might even be hotter here, but
Yeah.
maybe a bit. But it's like 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's warm.
Yeah.
It's warm. It doesn't change. The only thing that changes is when you're out of the sun, it's much better.
Yeah.
But it's just hot. But I won't complain because I'm going to be going home to the snow and the cold. So I only complain maybe every hour.
Yeah, maybe so.
I really do, but I'm enjoying it all. I'm enjoying it all. So we're walking in KL now, and we're going to all the little stores along the way. And what I noticed is every storefront has their own front area. They've made it their
Sure.
own, whether it be paved or not paved, whether it be tiles,
concrete or tile, yeah.
concrete. And so every storefront is a different level when you're walking. So so it's hard for me. So you're walking down the street, you're looking in the window. Well, the next minute, you've got a big step down because the next storefront isn't as level to the one that you were just at.
Yeah.
That to me is difficult because
Yeah.
you're really looking more about where you're walking than enjoying looking in the stores.
True. Fair. Fair. There could also be like an open hole.
Oh, sometimes there's just
Yeah.
an open hole, and it's like, watch out or you're gonna fall in. Now, it's true. Whereas in Canada or in Toronto, where it's all level.
Yeah. Fair.
Now
fair.
you're going to have construction and
Sure.
you're going to have holes, but it's mostly level. I can't imagine somebody in a wheelchair getting around KL.
Fair.
I don't think it would be possible. They can't go on the roads because there's too many scooters and cars. There's no way they can get up and down all these grades. So
Yeah.
so what do you do as a senior or somebody who's handicapped and you're in a wheelchair? I'm not quite sure
Fair.
what they would do.
By that point, you gotta balik kampung back to the village and go back to the
I guess so.
simple life in
In
the village. Now, what did you prefer? The big city like KL or the kampungs or the small town? Small town have a nice vibe. They have a
Small
nice-
town has a nice vibe. Looking at the monkeys in the street and the cows and the goats, and
Yeah.
that's all new to us too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, I've seen all the animals, but not walking down the street.
Yeah.
They both have different vibes.
Yeah,
So I
fair.
can't say I like one more than the other.
Fair.
It's all yeah, it's all good.
Okay, let's end this. Let's wrap it up with maybe the best thing you've noticed, or like something your favorite, or something, some positive note to end on.
Some positive note. I knew from watching Steven's videos. Oh, I'm gonna cry.
Gosh.
I'm a sap. The older I get, the more.
Oh, Mom, don't cry.
I'm such a sap. Anyways, the people are all so very, 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 very friendly.
Yeah,
I knew
yeah.
from watching your videos.
Yeah.
We met some special people. We came here to meet some special people.
Yes.
You know who you are, all of you.
Yes.
People are so kind, so giving. It's amazing.
Don't cry, Mom.
I can remember when we went to have roti canai, which is my favorite food to date. I mean, it's really good.
Yeah.
I have some others, but
Yeah.
it was really good from that restaurant because
Yeah.
I've had it since.
Yeah.
And the man at the end just came up and said, "I'm paying for you."
Yeah.
How amazing is that?
Uh-huh.
How amazing is that?
Yeah.
The people are very, very kind. The weather is fabulous because we don't have this. We might have 4 days of this heat, humidity back home. So although I complain it's hot and humid, I'm enjoying it all at the same time.
Probably better than -20.
The food is delicious. I
Yep.
love trying all the different foods. I would never ever try them back home.
You really like the squid over here.
I really like that squid with pepper sauce.
Black pepper squid.
At
Terrapuri.
Terrapuri?
Got it.
Terrapuri?
Got it.
Terrapuri Resort. It was really quite tasty, and I like was the other kind of fish I like? I did write it down somewhere. The mackerel.
Uh-huh.
I like the mackerel, and it was cooked in all these different ways. I never ate this before. So we're trying all different kinds of foods. It's fun, and the best part of it all, we're with JetLag Warriors.
Wow. What an ending, Mom. You nailed it.
Everyone keep safe, happy, healthy.
Good one, Mom. You're the best.
Bye.